For Chukwuma Soludo's second term, a lot of persons in Anambra State expected it to be different. But since the end of the last election, man has been very controversial. From one crisis to the other, in recent months, a new kind of political drama has been unfolding in southeastern Nigeria, particularly in the commercial heartbeat of Anambra State. At the center of it all is the Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Charles Soludo, a man once celebrated as a brilliant economist and reformer, now facing growing controversies over some of the toughest policies his administration has introduced. The crisis is not about elections. It is not about party politics. Instead, it is about markets, workers, fear, and the difficult battle between government authority and everyday survival. Across the states, traders are angry, civil servants are worried, and citizens are asking a difficult question. Is the government restoring order, or is it creating new hardship? To understand the tension gripping the states, we must start with the issue that has haunted the entire Southeast for years. For a long time, Mondays in many parts of southeastern Nigeria has looked unusually quiet. Markets closed, streets empty, businesses shut. The sit-at-home order, originally linked to agitation around the detention of Nnamdi Kanu, gradually evolved into a weekly disruption that affected economic life across the region. Even when official groups behind the order claimed they had suspended it, fear kept many people indoors. In a state as commercially active as Anambra State, this weekly shutdown had massive economic consequences. Traders lost money, transporters lost passengers, schools struggled to maintain academic schedules. When Governor Chukwuma Charles Soludo assumed office, he made it clear that the culture of fear would not be allowed to continue indefinitely. The government insisted that Mondays must return to normal, but restoring normalcy turned out to be fear more complicated than simply making an announcement. Many workers were still afraid. Stories of attacks in different communities across the Southeast had created deep psychological fear. For civil servants who commute from distant towns to cities like Awka, Onitsha, and Nnewi, the risks felt very real. Yet the state government decided to take a bold step. Civil servants were instructed to report to work on Mondays. Without fail, the message was clear. Anyone who fails to appear at work on Monday would face salary deductions. Almost immediately, the policy sparked debates. Supporters of the government argued that fear could only end if people gradually returned to normal activities. According to them, continuing to stay at home every Monday was indirectly empowering those who wanted to paralyze the region's economy. But critics saw the situation differently. Many civil servants complained quietly that government was punishing workers for a security problem they did not create. Some workers say that they were being forced to choose between two difficult options: risk their safety on the road or lose part of their salary. Labor unions began raising concerns. Civil society groups questioned whether deductions were the right approach in a region where insecurity was still unpredictable. While this debate was still ongoing, another storm began to build in the commercial city of Onitsha. Onitsha is not just another city. It is one of the largest trade hubs in West Africa. Its market attracts traders from across Nigeria and even neighboring countries. The legendary Onitsha Main Market is often described as the economic engine of southeastern commerce. Thousands of traders rely on it for survival. But recently, tension began to rise again as government authorities moved to close sections of the market in the city. Officials claimed that the move was necessary to tackle criminal activities, enforce sanitation rules, and dismantle illegal structures that had grown around the market over the years. Authorities also raised concern about counterfeit products, illegal drug activities, and unregulated warehouses allegedly operating inside parts of the market. From the government perspective, the message was simple: the market needed serious reform. But for traders, the story looked different. For many of them, the sudden closure of shops meant the loss of daily income. Goods worth millions of naira were locked inside shops that could not open. Supply chains were interrupted. In a city where trading activity rarely stops, even a few days of shutdown can mean financial disaster. Anger began to spread. Trade associations accused the government of punishing thousands of innocent traders because of the alleged crimes of few individuals. Many traders also questioned the timing and execution of the enforcement. Some claimed that the closure were too sudden. Others said that authorities did not provide enough alternative arrangement for affected businesses. Yet the biggest controversy was still ahead. Soon, report began to emerge that government authority has started demolishing certain market structures in parts of Onitsha. Bulldozers arrived. Shops were pulled down. Structures that stood for years suddenly disappeared under heavy machinery. The government explained that many of the demolished buildings were illegal constructions that violated urban planning regulations. Some were allegedly built along drainage channels, road corridors, and restricted areas. Officials also claimed that certain buildings had become hideouts for criminal activities. From the administration's perspective, the demolition were part of a broader urban renewal strategy designed to transform the city into a more organized and secure commercial environment. But for the traders who lost their shops, the experience was devastating. Many said they received little notice before the demolition. Some claimed goods worth huge amounts were trapped inside the structures that were destroyed. For small business owners who have spent years building their shops, the destruction felt like the collapse of their livelihood overnight. The emotional scenes quietly spread across social media. Videos of demolished structures circulated widely. Traders were seen lamenting their losses. Some accused the government of being insensitive to the struggles of ordinary people. In a region where commerce is the backbone of everyday survival, this demolition triggered deep anxiety. Beyond the physical destruction of buildings, the crisis also exposed a growing tension between the Soludo government and the powerful trader communities. Cities like Onitsha and Nnewi are dominated by large trading networks and influential market unions. These groups have historically played significant roles in the economic and political life of the state. Whenever policies appear to threaten market activities, the reaction can be swift and intense. For Governor Chukwuma Soludo, the challenge now is balancing two difficult realities. On one hand, many urban planners and policy experts argue that some markets in the state had grown in chaotic and unregulated ways. Narrow paths, illegal extensions, and poorly planned structures have created sanitation, security, and traffic problems. Reforming such spaces may indeed require bold action. But on the other hand, markets are not just physical structures. They represent the livelihood of thousands of families. For every shop that is demolished, there is often a trader who borrowed money, invested life savings, or built a business over many years. This delicate balance between regulation and survival lies at the heart of the current tension in Anambra State. While supporters of the governor praise him for attempting to bring discipline and order to the state, critics argue that the reforms are being implemented in a way that are too harsh. Some believe that the government should focus more on consultation and gradual implementation rather than sudden enforcement. Others insist that strong action is necessary if the state wants to modernize its commercial infrastructure. In the middle of these arguments are the ordinary citizens, civil servants worried about salary deductions, traders' anxiety about demolition, and residents simply trying to navigate the economic uncertainty. For many observers, the situation represents one of the most complex moments in the administration of Chukwuma Charles Soludo. The governor came into office with a reputation as one of Nigeria's most respected economists. His supporters expected a bold reform agenda capable of transforming the state's economy. But reforms, especially in deeply entrenched systems, rarely happen without resistance. Today, the debate continues across the streets of Awka, the crowded trading lanes of Onitsha, and the industrial hubs of Nnewi. Some citizens believe the government is taking necessary steps to restore order and discipline. Others fear that the cost of these policies may fall too heavy on ordinary people struggling to survive. And so the question remains unanswered. Is Anambra State witnessing the painful beds of long-term needed reforms? Or is the state entering a new era of tension between government authority and the everyday realities of its people? For now, the streets, markets, and offices of Anambra continues to hold